Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor. Now it's time for your weekend tech tip, brought to you by Chevy Silverado.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. We've got Steve Lynch here in the studio, minus Jason. Now, Jason was going to be here, but he's a bit busy. He's up fishing this morning. They having some luck?
They are having luck. They're cover fishing at the Klickitat.
Okay, and I'm assuming that he's fishing fuse, but he's probably got some of the new gear as well.
He does have this as well, yes.
Okay, so when I cut out of that last segment, the way I kind of wrapped it up, and you're well aware of this, number one, at least in my opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, you have to have good eggs to end up with a good cured egg, right?
Correct.
So you can cover up bad eggs with a good cure if the process is done correctly. Okay, and every egg has, all these bottles have a little bit different process to curing the eggs correctly. Again, am I correct there?
Correct.
All right.
Yep.
So with this particular cure, the ultimate egg cure from again Keith Archer, what's different about his process?
It's pretty similar to the fuse process. So it's and so you just lightly sprinkle it. This bottle will do 16 to 20 pounds of eggs. So just lightly put it on, roll it around, and then either leave it in an open container or an open baggie. Don't seal it closed for 3 days. And that way it lets the cure in and absorb in and extract out a couple of times. And each day they get a little stronger smelling. At the end of that third day, then you can put them up in pine or quart containers.
So open bag.
An open bag, and all I mean by that is like this, but just not sealed.
Okay,
right?
I understand.
So that way it can breathe.
Okay, so you're just letting air be able to get to the...
Correct.
Not laying out on a platter or anything, but in a bag.
Correct. So I don't want the other odors from my kitchen or my shop to get to it.
Gotcha.
You want to keep it away from animals, of course.
Sure.
If you put it in your refrigerator and leave it open like that, it's going to stink up your refrigerator.
Sure.
And quite honestly, the cure will go into the eggs better at room temperature versus being refrigerated.
Okay, sure.
So as long as it's not 80 degrees in your home, you can do this on your workbench, provided it's a clean environment, right? You should cure them outside. Then after that, you can bring them in.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's a little bit different by itself, right? Now that's maybe not different than what you've done, right? And I know that I've done that a little bit in the past with different cures, but I always certainly seal them up in that bag, roll them around, and do all that kind of stuff.
So I will seal them up, roll them around, and then once I'm done massaging them, open it up so they can breathe.
Gotcha.
And then, like I said, they are going to leave an aroma so if you're doing it in your garage, you're going to smell it.
Sure.
And they get a little stronger each day. But like I said, don't let them go 5 days or 6 days. That third day is the key. Seal them up, put them in pine or quart containers. I'm not a fan of leaving cured eggs in baggies because if you put them in the freezer, they're going to get smashed. You're going to cram things around. So at least in a container, they're going to be protected from being crushed.
And help keep some of the air off them so they don't freeze or burn or whatever else.
Correct. So yeah, I lightly pack a quart or a pint, and then the very top I may load it with borax just to take the air out. Do not take a piece of wax paper and light on fire like some of the directions state. That leaves a smoke smell in your eggs.
Sure.
Not bad for salmon, but the steelhead won't touch them.
Gotcha.
Right? So, and even if they freeze or burn a little bit, just cut that crust off and pitch it.
Sure.
Right? But these eggs I'm doing today are cure and crush eggs. They're nothing fancy.
Okay.
But yet they'll still be fishable at the end of day 3.
Gotcha. All right. So you've got some eggs here. You've got the new cure, the ultimate egg cure from Keith Archer. And so you're just going to sprinkle it on like you would anything else.
Sure, but first things first, you were talking about good eggs.
Yeah.
Don't freeze your eggs. If you catch fish, cure your eggs within 24 hours.
Right.
If you throw them in the freezer, please don't use our product after the fact. You won't be happy.
Sure.
And what happens is the moisture inside that berry, the egg, expands and it ruptures. And it may not blow it up then, but once you thaw it, becomes super fragile. And then when you're curing and moving around, they're all going to collapse and crush.
Right.
And you're going to say, that cure ruined my eggs.
Right.
No,
well, it wasn't the cure, it was you.
It was you.
Yeah.
So try to have cure on hand, whether it's a liquid egg cure, the ultimate egg, anybody's cure.
Sure.
At least roll them in borax. Do something to stabilize within that first day, and then get cured to them.
Gotcha.
But if you cure your eggs within that first day, you'll end up with a good egg.
Gotcha.
All right. But this is pretty simple. If they're really big skeins, I would butterfly them, but these are not. So the cure will get in and absorb this. I don't need to fillet this or butterfly.
Do you have a favorite species of salmon that you like to cure eggs by? I mean, is it a Chinook? Is it a silver? Is it a sockeye? Is it a chum? I mean, I know it's not a chum, but is there one?
Sure. So I like the medium berry. I really don't have a species, whether it's a coho or sockeye.
Okay.
But these here would be a much more durable egg to fish. If you get the real big, beautiful buried, they're not going to hold up. They're not going to do well, especially if you go to cast them. They're going to splatter all over the place. They're not going to back bounce well. These eggs, the medium-sized to small, are so much more durable.
Sure, gotcha.
That's what I prefer.
So take care of them, right? Now, if you get yourself a big old Chinook and it's got, you know, number one, be responsible as best you can, right? I'm not going to tell you not to retain a fish just because it's a hen or not. That's not me. But there are times where you can just, you know, hey, it's a big hen, let her go. Or if you get a smaller one, those might be more eggs, might be more preferred eggs than, say, that 40-pound hen that you could let go. Just throwing that out there.
Sure. Later in the fall, when your fall fish, close, a lot of those are close to spawning, and they're not going to cure well. The membrane and the skin is going to be loose. When you're cutting them open, I mean, they're already falling apart. So if they're close to spawning, they're not really good unless you're going to cure singles, which is a whole nother ball game.
Sure.
The average guy won't be able to do that. So
all right,
at that
let's
point,
take a look at what you do here.
But all you do is just lightly sprinkle it on, just like you would, the amount like you would with a regular Pro Cure, or even the Fuse. I'll put a little on, I massage them around, and then I may apply a little more. And then once I'll do them with this, I'll put them in a Ziploc baggie, just because that way I can kind of keep them contained. But it doesn't need a lot, right? But it needs a little more than that.
Would you say that, and I know as a manufacturer of the cure, you probably would love people to continue to buy, right? He's already admitted that. But would you say that people overuse the cure when they're curing their eggs?
They do. And it burns them or shrivels them. They'll still fish. You're still going to catch fish. They just won't be near as pretty, you and me. But they still will catch fish.
So you can over-cure them, and you will see that in the final product. Like you said, they're going to be shriveled up. The berries aren't going to be as plump, I guess.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, they're going to be I can't say the word I'm thinking of, but shriveled up.
Gotcha.
And even putting in water, they will not rehydrate.
Gotcha.
Like your brined herring, when they get shriveled or peckered up, they rehydrate in the water. An overcured egg will not, but they'll still fish. But they're just harder to milk. If you've overcured them, it burns them to where they stay sealed.
Would you say that it's better to undercure than it is to overcure?
I would say yes, but then the problem with an undercured egg is if you leave it in the refrigerator for a long period of time, it will mold. But if you're leaving your eggs in the freezer, right, if you're not going to use them within a week or so, they should be frozen.
Sure.
You'll have no deteration in the freezer.
Gotcha.
And you can always lay your egg out, and if you find it's too goopy, or not, you can always you can apply more, give it more air time, right? Put them out, let them air dry for another day. And especially if you pull out a pint and they're just goopy. Or that's maybe how you want them for bobber fishing. You want a goopy egg, but if you're going to back bounce or side drift, lay those same eggs out. Put a light fan on them. That'll firm them up and they'll work as a back bouncing egg the next day.
Now, I got to cut to a break, but I got one last question here before we come back from this break. Can you add back to a cured egg to help improve?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Gotcha. You can put a very little bit on. But you'll find on a goopy egg, if you just give it air, a lot of times that will firm it up.
Gotcha.
Or roll it in plain borax. And that, if you're worried about over-curing it, that's just a drying agent. Will help dry them.
Listen, if you're new to curing eggs and you're like, holy moly, it's not. Don't be intimidated by it. I know that I was back in the day, right? When I was getting advice from Yano, rest his soul, he was like, dude, you're overthinking this. Just get the stuff on there. Don't use too much and then take care of it, right? Most important part, though, is when you do get a fish with eggs, that you take care of those eggs.
Absolutely.
Most important thing. Okay, we'll be back. Maybe we can talk a little bit about that too when we come back. Don't go anywhere. We've got Steve Lynch from ProCure teaching you the right way to take care and cure your eggs. We'll be right back. No, that's good stuff.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Terra Firma Foundation Systems. We keep homes safe, dry, and stable. By Yakima Bait, steeped in tradition, innovation, and fishing success. And by ProCure Bait Sense, ruthlessly effective.